Good evening, everybody, and welcome tonight to the update, day number 95. As always, Larry Menninger, it is absolutely unbelievable that we are where we're at. I have a full night for you. In fact, very interesting. I've come to the place where, maybe sometimes it's just better to show you. Let's see here. Take a look at that. That is all documentation from this war. And then we can go into here, and this is all documentation for the war. Yeah, it's crazy. So we've come to the place where I'm actually caught up really on all the things that I've organized and scheduled to share. So I've got quite a bit tonight to close out day 95. And of course, what's interesting is everything is always fresh and right on time. So Chuck Pinkham checking in from San Jose, California. Actually, I've got a picture you guys sent in just a moment from Half Moon Bay. Julia Augustine, welcome to you. Happy Sunday evening to everybody. Lynn Fireball, God bless you. Rogammon, Richmond, Virginia. Here's Alstead, New Hampshire in the house tonight. Michael Hogan, God bless you. Patricia Schoaf, welcome to you. Ted Link, Ricochet, Rick Berry, Kim Porter, Karen Beatty, the Metropolis, Fredonia in the house, Paul Kiss, Canadian, Pennsylvanian representation. Sharon Emmett. How did we get to day 95? Rick Berry also dropping John 15:13 on us. Bob Piccarilli, welcome to you on this 29th of May. So, folks, tons and tons of things to be looking at, many things that we will be sharing, and it's going to be a full night. I want to start here tonight. You guys know we've been raising humanitarian aid funds. We've done all kind of things. and we are continuing. It's actually cranking up even more. But I want to start tonight and show you guys a video clip of. Do you guys. Excuse me. I'm almost over this cough. Gani King, welcome there from Manila, Philippines. Do you guys remember when we brought the sample helmet back and then we bought more military helmets? Well, they're on the front lines. We have 20 helmets that we have put on the front lines. Jimmy Pentecost, my friend, you know I love your last name. Checking in from Salem, Virginia. Thank you for that. Thank you, everybody, for all of your support. Firecracker 10. You know, I want to show you guys this first. This is very interesting, but very cool. We've got to thank you from the front lines for the helmets that we bought. So thank you for your continued giving. Have another number for you next week. We're pushing $110,000 that we have raised and are supporting Ukraine with on our organizations there. So here you go. Here is a sample of a helmet that we together bought.
Доброго дня. Слава Україні. Дякую благодійному фонду «Напрям» за ось такий чудовий девайс. Сьогодні я вже взяв його, трошки з ним пройшовся. Непогано. Дякую ще раз. Займаєтесь потрібною гарною справою, допомагаєте нашим воїнам. Так тримати. Все буде Україна. Дякую.
So there you have it, folks. If you ever wonder if what you're giving and supporting is getting there, it's not just food and clothes and diapers and tourniquets and medical supplies, but even the military supplies that we have bought. Our NGO there is called Direction when translated. So that is, we have multiple NGOs there. And of course, an NGO stands for a non-governmental organization. Now, to start the full night tonight, I think the best thing we could do is lay down President Zelensky first. He gave a pretty lengthy address tonight. I've edited it down, just took a couple of parts out of it. First of all, President Zelensky visited Kharkiv today, went to the war zone, and something very interesting. He not only went there and awarded awards for those who are defending Kharkiv, but he also went and fired some guys face to face who were not doing a good enough job. He'll tell you about that. And then he makes some comments about Severodonetsk. And tonight we will be talking about Severodonetsk. Not only Severodonetsk, I also have a huge update for you guys on Mariupol. And of course, it's not the best of news, but you're going to be updated and you will know. So let's start tonight with President Zelensky. Here he is from just a few minutes ago.
Міцні народи нашої незламної країни, усі наші захисники і захисниці. Це моє звернення присвячено 4 містам України: Харкову, Києву, Сєвєродонецьку і Кривому Рогу. А через них всій нашій державі, всім нашим містам і громадам. Сьогодні я відвідав Харків, і саме місто і передові позиції наших військових в області. Харків пережив страшні удари окупантів. Чорні, опалені вогнем, напівзруйновані житлові будинки міста дивляться своїми вікнами на схід та північ, туди, звідки била російська артилерія, звідки прилітала російська бойова авіація. Вони дивляться на Росію, і у них зараз, як у дзеркалі, російська держава може побачити себе. Побачити, скільки всього вона програла за ці 95 днів повномасштабної війни проти України. Росія вже програла не тільки битву за Харків, не тільки битву за Київ і північ нашої країни. Вона програла власне майбутнє і будь-які культурні зв'язки з вільним світом. Вони всі згоріли, зокрема і там, на Салтівці. Провів нараду з керівництвом області, міста, подякував їм за те, що вони були і залишаються разом з харків'янами, разом з Україною. І що дуже важливо зараз, разом один з одним. У них співпраця на 100%, армія, поліція, мер Харкова, обласна державна адміністрація, всі дійсно працюють на перемогу і роблять це дуже ефективно. На жаль, цього не скажеш про місцеве керівництво по лінії Служби безпеки України. Я приїхав, розібрався, звільнив очільника Служби безпеки України області за те, що не працював на захист міста з перших днів повномасштабної війни, а думав тільки про себе особисто. Які мотиви правоохоронці з'ясують. Третина Харківщини досі під окупацією. Обов'язково звільнимо всю територію. І на цей результат повинен працювати. Вважаю дуже символічним, що російські військові свою спробу захопити Сєвєродонецьк почали із того, що зайшли в готель під назвою «Мир». Мир – це дійсно найперша мішень для Росії. Забравши у нас мир в 2014 році, окупанти хочуть забрати і все інше. Буквально все. Хочуть не залишити нам ані свободи, ані будинків, ані життя. Внаслідок російських ударів в Сєвєродонецьку зруйнована вже вся критична інфраструктура міста. 90% будинків пошкоджені. Більше 2/3 житлового фонду міста повністю зруйновано. Немає зв'язку. Постійні обстріли. Захопити Сєвєродонецьк – це принципове завдання для окупаційного контингенту. І їм все одно, якою кількістю життів доведеться заплатити за цю спробу підняти російський прапор на бульварі, як гірко зараз звучить ця назва – Дружби народів. Дружби народів 32, де розташована Сєвєродонецька адміністрація. Ми робимо все.
And then he says we're doing everything to protect and to stay on the defensive. So a couple of interesting things there. It was a 9-minute address that he gave the nation tonight. I gave you a few minutes of it. The first thing that you see is he actually visited Kharkiv today. Secondly, we learned you have to read between the lines. We had a traitor. Let's just call it for what it is. Head of the security administration there in Kharkiv is a traitor. He was dismissed today. And replaced. So that will help our security there in the Kharkiv Oblast. And then, of course, he's speaking about Severodonetsk. He goes on to speak about Kryvyi Rog, which was just demolished again today with missile strikes. As I've told you guys, basically what Russia is doing, because Ukraine does have some air defenses, but it's not possible to clear everything out of the skies. They're basically firing 4 cruise missiles at a time. Air defense is taking out 1 and 3 are hitting targets. So Kryvyi Rog once again hit. Also, right before we went online, I'm going to show you this. In fact, why don't we do that now? Right before we went online, so of course Zelensky is here in Kyiv and he visited Kharkiv today. But the big hit today was Kryvyi Rog. Of course, the continuing major battle in Severodonetsk, of which 1 minute Russia will say it's all ours. The next minute Ukraine will say we're defending it. The next minute Russia has it. But that's what happens in these urban warfares in these cities. There's pushbacks throughout the battle. So, but the city I want to draw to your attention is right here, Mariupol. It's in the Kharkiv Oblast. It's right below Kharkiv. Mariupol was hit just a few minutes ago massively. And that's a city of about 25,000 people. It's a regional center, a regional city. So for those of you here in Western Pennsylvania, what, the size of Sharon? Quite a large portion of that city is currently on fire. So that's some of the major hits that happened today. Now, this was sent in earlier today from Half Moon Bay, California. Family there has the Ukrainian flag and they are supporting. So we're very thankful to that. Now, before we go any further, I want to now, President Zelensky has laid the groundwork. We understand what is happening in the regions. I'm going to give you some play-by-play details, not only of the infrastructure. I've got a clip of President Schultz today making a very goofy statement, but it was a good statement. Also have some updates on a couple of other things, but I want to start first after President Zelensky tonight with, I call her the World War II granny. Are you ready for this? World War II granny. What does she have to say about this?
Я почетный ветеран Украины. В 10-м поколении венечанка. И мои внуки, правнуки, все венечане. У меня 2 ранения, контузия. У нас война была совсем иная. Тогда мы воевали с фашизмом. Мы знали, что это наши враги. А это соседи вместе ели с одного котелка, вместе дошли до Берлина. Мы думали, что мы ветераны, последние на планете, что больше не будет. А сейчас опять появились новые ветераны. Мало того, что вы убиваете, это война, так вы же уничтожаете наши города, наших людей, наших детей. Так это что, не фашисты они? Они хуже фашистов. Фашисты-то были наши враги. У нас разные идеологии были. У нас совсем другие были, другое воспитание. У нас все другое. А это кто? Это же вы же братья были наши. Там же половина украинцев живет в России. Тут же русские живут, которые... Как же так? Нет, это хуже, чем фашисты. Отец у меня воевал в гражданскую, в отечественную. Я, брат, воевали в нашу отечественную, Вторую мировую. Мои дети, но это не именно мои дети, но я имею в виду мои дети в Афгане. Мои внуки теперь. Да хоть бы правнуки. Я мечтаю, чтобы правнуки бы жили в мире и чтобы не знали, что такое война.
That lady right there is a walking history book. JDO, how can they just dismiss going back to President Zelensky talking about the security guy there? The turncoat, he knows too much. He's been dismissed, but he's not been let go. He's in captivity. He's been dismissed of his position. But no, he's in trouble. In fact, they're pretty tight on that. He will not see the light of day anymore. So that is no worries there. So that's a granny, her father, all the way to her and her brother, then what she calls her grandchildren, her children rather, fighting in Afghanistan, and then her grandchildren fighting in this war. She said, I hope that my great-grandchildren could live in peace. Can you imagine that? Basically, 100 years of war, every generation of that lady's family. Now, I want to give you guys an update today. Many people do not know this. They're misinformed. Happy birthday, Kyiv. Today is the birthday of the city of Kyiv, Ukraine. Kyiv, Ukraine was founded in 482. On the left is a picture of Kyiv. On the right, of course, is a picture of Moscow, St. Basil's Cathedral. You can see that the city of Moscow was founded in 1147. To be quite honest with you, Russia came out of Ukraine. Ukraine didn't come out of Russia, but I'm not going to give you a history lesson on that. It was originally called Kiev Rus, and then from that you went up and you had Russia formed, but it started in Ukraine. So on the left, Kyiv, on the right, Moscow. So today they're celebrating the birthday of Kyiv, and some musicians, about a minute clip here, came together to celebrate the birthday of their great city. 482. It's 1,540 years old. Yes, and there are many, many ancient things in the city of Kyiv. Beautiful city. Check this out. Happy birthday, Kiev. My friends, right there. Say what you will about Ukraine. These guys have a great film industry. Yes, they do. Extremely talented people. And as I've told you guys before, wherever you watch, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, other formats, it's all happening at one time behind the scenes. I use a company that's actually based in Kyiv, Ukraine. They handle all of the streaming out to all of the different platforms. So Ukraine, very, very talented, as you can see, and I try to share it with you in the world. So this is why Ukraine is going to win the war. Look at the heart of the people standing in the rubble of Kyiv, celebrating the birth of their great city. Now, I want to show you guys something very, very interesting. Today, there was a marathon race in Germany celebrating Ukraine. You know, I'm here to always tell you the truth. And, you know, last night I was blasting Schultz. They still haven't delivered their weapons. He's getting ready to tell a little fib, I think. Have they delivered some stuff? Yes. Have they delivered the big weapons, the medium weapons? No, not one. But they've delivered light, helmets, etc. In fact, I have the list of what Germany physically has delivered. It's very, very minor. But remember, it was just a couple of days ago that Macron, Schultz, and Putin were having their Zoom call. Now, today at the marathon, this was the opening speech that Schultz gave, was played on the big screens outdoors in regard to Ukraine. Pretty interesting.
Hello, Kiev. Hello, Ukraine. We stand with you. Our hearts and thoughts are with you today, like every day since Russia attacked your country. We are joining hands with our friends and partners with ongoing financial support to ensure that Ukraine's economy does not collapse. We are sending weapons to Ukraine, breaking with a long-standing German tradition of not delivering weapons into war zones. Nearly 800,000 Ukrainians have found refuge in Germany. We are welcoming them with open arms. And we are already making plans to rebuild Ukraine after the war, because this war will end. President Zelensky said it on the 8th of May. The Ukrainian sun will end the winter that began February 24th. Putin will not win. We remember those who have lost their lives to Russia's brutal aggression. We think of those who have been injured, who have lost their homes, who live in daily fear of Russian bombs, missiles and tanks. And we support those who are bravely fighting for Ukraine against tyranny and oppression. We stand united for Ukraine, for freedom, for the rule of law and for dignity, as European sisters and brothers.
"95 days we have done this. Tomorrow we will be here, even on Memorial Day. The war doesn't take a break on Memorial Day, and we will honor our soldiers that have been killed, lost their lives in battle. We pay tribute to them. We understand it's not Veterans Day, but not sure. We will see. Ricochet, I see that. Why don't I believe him? It's interesting. And that's what I'll say. And here's why I say that is interesting. That was today in English. And of course, whether you guys know this or not, Vladimir Putin is a phenomenal English speaker. He rarely speaks it, but he's a very, very good English speaker. So of course, he will hear that speech. He will hear those statements, and he will hear Germany a couple of days ringing in his ears, you know, whatever they were saying on their meeting. And now we have Schultz telling Ukraine and the world, okay, Ukraine's going to win, Russia's going to lose, da 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 da. It's interesting. So we'll be watching it, and we'll see. That's all I can say about it is we will see. Now, with that, I've showed you a couple of times a guy named Gerashenko. Gerashenko is a politician there in Kyiv, pretty well known. He works out of the president's office. Have a hard time giving respect to anyone who speaks regarding defense from a sitting down position. That's interesting. And I know you're a vet. So thank you. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool thought. I do feel for Germany. They've spent the last 80 years making up for a poor decision. They don't need to make another one in the process. They don't have anything to prove at this point. Stand up, boys. I thank you and Ricochet. Saying the exact same thing. I'm thankful that he made those statements, but it's going to be interesting to see what unfolds from it. And I have every video. It's not going away. We may have to replay this one here in the future for the good or for the bad. We shall see. Now, with that said, talking to you about Gerashenko. Gerashenko had a debate with a Russian journalist. And very, very interesting. It got extremely heated. And this would have been today on the diplomatic level. One lady representing Russia, and not a journalist, but governmental journalist, governmental position, just like Gerashenko, and Gerashenko representing Ukraine. This lady gives her opinions on why Russia is right, why everything is going according to plan, and then Gerashenko gives his reply. I'm going to play a couple of minutes of Gerashenko. Pretty sharp guy here, telling the truth about the story.
Смотрите, есть понятие свободы говорить, а есть понятие свободы лгать. Это две разные вещи. Если человек говорит что-то заблуждаясь искренне, да, это одно. Если Соловьев, получая миллионы долларов, заранее зная, что он призывает к агрессивной войне, в результате которых погибнет тысячи, десятки тысяч людей, это преступление. Вы не согласны с решением Нюрнбергского трибунала, который осудил Юлиуса Штрайхера и ряд других нацистов, которые никого не убили, но зато призывали к убийству евреев? Вы не согласны с решением Гаагского трибунала в отношении редакторов радио «Семи холмов», которые призывали в Руанде в 1994 году убивать Тутси от имени Пхуту? Ну, ясно, не буду не согласен с вами. Давайте разделять людей, которые искренне заблуждаются, и людей, которые за деньги призывают к убийствам. Это разные вещи. Я считаю, что самым страшным оружием является не атомная бомба, не термоядерная бомба, а является пропаганда. Атомная бомба в Хиросиме убила 50 тысяч человек. Пропаганда, с которой с ненавистью накачивал Гитлер немецкий народ против евреев, убили 50 миллионов человек. Сегодня Путин за 20 лет своей пропагандой через так называемую свободу слова вдохновил миллионы россиян на то, что украинцы это недочеловеки. Ведь Путин сделал то с российским народом, что делал Гитлер с немецким народом. Только вместо евреев теперь украинцы. Мы с вами говорим на русском языке. Я родился в Харькове. Вы знаете, что я нахожусь в списке нацистов, который был зачитан за день до специальной военной операции, я подлежу уничтожению вместе с другими и денацификации. Я не против того, чтобы были разные точки зрения, но я категорически против, когда за деньги призывают убивать других людей. Телеграм-канал Андреусу Брейвику, который убил больше 70 человек в Норвегии, детей, расстрелял их и так далее. Вот вы знаете эту историю. Норвежец Андрес Брейвик сделал в правительственном квартале Осло, потом поехал на остров Утоя, где был сбор подростков из разного рода арабских стран. И расстрелял больше 60 человек. Хладнокровно. Давайте мы откроем на Ютубе блог, и он будет каждую неделю по 3 раза вот так вот выступать, дискутировать и оправдывать массовые убийства. Вы за? Я против.
I'm telling you. These Ukrainians are smart. That's Gerashenko, of course, giving the examples of, remember the mass murder in Norway, and then, of course, the example of Hitler. And he's talking about the power of propaganda. He mentioned the name Solovyov. Who is Solovyov? That's the crazy nut that I keep showing you guys each time that interesting things are said that we take the time to translate for you. It's the main man. He's paid $50 million a year by the Kremlin No, I did not stutter. It's not 500,000. It's not 5 million. It's $50 million. Y'all know that crazy looking woman on the Nut Job show that keeps talking? She's paid $4 million a year. The white haired man from last night calling for nuclear war paid $2 million a year. Folks, not rubles, dollars. Solovyov is paid $50 million a year to spread propaganda. And Gerashenko was going off on it. He's from Kharkiv. He was speaking to the Russian lady in Russian. That was not the Ukrainian language. That was Russian language. And he was telling her, I'm speaking Russian to you, but you need to understand that on the day before this operation started, my name as a government official was put on the hit list as a Nazi to be denazified and destroyed. And he says, yes, the nuclear bombs, thermonuclear bombs, powerful. The bomb in Hiroshima killed 80,000 people. But the propaganda out of Hitler's office that spread through Goebbels, through people, killed 6 million Jews. And the propaganda that is being spewed out of Russia is killing thousands and thousands and thousands more than your bombs are killing. Very, very interesting. And I think it was spot on. Yep, I like you guys here. I will remain skeptical of anything I hear from Macron or Schultz. Agreed, Firecracker 10. It's easy to make profound statements, but let's see what kind of actions follow those statements. Germany, we will. It's going to be interesting. I want to move on now to Severodonetsk. I want to give you the update. This is the major battle that is happening. Of course, there are many, but Severodonetsk, you guys know where this is located, over in eastern Ukraine. And you can see the detail box. It's blown up there. Lehman, Solovyov and his running dogs are making NFL salaries. Yeah, and you know who's paying the salary? All the companies, all the nations that are buying Russian oil. You know, this is why from day one, we're at 95. I have stated firmly, sanctions will not work. I mean, the EU can't even agree on the sixth round of sanctions this time. And the oil embargo, they're going to talk about it again tomorrow. It's not going to work. Russia does have resources financially. Is it tough? Of course. But they were prepared. They've been planning for this for decades. Bruce says, why not bring up Mayo, who is the killer of all? That's correct. I mean, we could go from Mayo. We could talk to Joseph Stalin. There's plenty of examples. Better hope their money is worth their soul. Yeah, it's ugly. Severodonetsk, I want to give you the update on this. As I've told you earlier, President Zelensky said, still fighting. It's a major battle. They've taken over the Hotel Mir. In 1 minute, you know, we'll get the reports where I get all the information sent to me that Russia now controls Severodonetsk. 1 hour later, Ukraine is pushed back. Now they're controlling half of Severodonetsk. Honestly, it does matter, but it doesn't matter in the big scheme of things because it's going to fall. There's no way they can hold out unless Russia quits. It's going to fall. There's nothing left. 90% of the buildings are destroyed. There's no power. There's no mobile, as President Zelensky said. There's no infrastructure. There's no water. There's nothing. The people that are stuck there, some of them now are trying to get out. I'll give you an update on that right now.
Live queue to board the truck. The evacuation of Severodonetsk and neighboring Lysychansk residents to safe regions continues. This vehicle will carry everyone, even if it's just one civilian.
This is an unusual bus. It is armored, provided by the head of the Civil Military Administration, and it is already quite successfully transporting people. We have been evacuating them for more than a week, and in this way we have evacuated more than 150 people. Why armored? Probably everyone already understands. All roads are constantly exposed to fire, and the evacuation really looks more like lottery. But we will do it until we can.
There are not many who are willing to evacuate, about 40 a day. 2 weeks ago there were half as many people. They began to leave more actively due to the massive shelling of residential areas.
Well, first of all, there is no water. Secondly, there are no living conditions at all. There is no electricity, no medicine for grandma. And how long did you cook food on the fire like that? For 2 months. On the fire? Yes, and baked bread. Then we distributed it to all the grandfathers and grandmothers. They were crying because I left, but I just couldn't stay, really. Well, there are 42 people in our apartment building. Everyone lives in basements. The conditions are terrible, of course. No water, no electricity, no gas, nothing. How can you live in such conditions? Water is delivered by car, but there's not enough for everyone.
This time about 60 residents of Severodonetsk and Lysychansk were evacuated. The so-called road of life, Lysychansk-Bakhmut, is constantly under fire. The road is extremely dangerous, although the delivery of humanitarian aid and the evacuation of people continue. Reported by Pavlo Shtelmach, Anastasia Volkova, UATV News.
There you go, folks. That's really what's happening in Severodonetsk, and people are still trying to get out. But as you can see, it's the older folks there that they're trying to get out, and it's such a challenge for them. We shall see. Only about 10,000 to 12,000 people are left in that city of about 105,000 people. Now, when I keep telling you guys about the oil and the economic inflow to Russia not slowing down, they prepaid their debt through June. Their next possibility of a default is July, and they've already said that's not going to happen. In fact, they paid these 2 months in cash through a bond. So it's very interesting to look at and understand they've got cash flow, and this is why right here. Russia crude in transit and floating storage. I have up there on the left the flags of China and the flag of India. They have become the two major buyers of discounted Russian oil. Do not believe anything you see on any American media that says China is not supporting Russia economically. It is so far from the truth. It's as far as the East is from the West. China is absolutely supporting Russia's economy. Not only that, India is supporting Russia's economy. And I'm going to take it one more step for you guys tonight. Here is becoming their next big trade partner. You've got it. We knew this was coming. We've got Russia. We've got Iran. We've got China, North Korea. Turkey's on the fence. I understand. India, what are they doing? But right here, Iran, they have worked out an agreement just over the last 48 hours for an exchange of oil for Iranian goods to help support the Russian markets where the sanctions have affected their imports and their exports. So now, becoming a major trade partner with Russia. And this is not for military, not for arms. This is for goods and services. Iran and Russia are jumping up on a new level of partnership. Now, talking about the economy, I wanted to share this with you. This was through the 25th, so it's even more now. But just think about this. Forget the numbers on the back, on the right side. But I just want you to look at the left. Infrastructure facilities lost square meters, and this would then move out to the million place, 44.2. Kilometers of roads, 23,800. Industrial enterprises, factories, 227. This is destroyed. Loss. Civilian airports, 11. Do you guys know how long it takes to build an airport or to build a bridge? How about railway stations and rolling stock? 6,300 railway infrastructures and 41 bridges, 643 healthcare institutions, 295 bridges and bridge crossings, 104,000 cars. Institutions of secondary and higher education, 1,123. Land in hectares. Their land fund, 4.7. That will be hectares, million. That's their farming. That's their land that's been shelled and destroyed. Administration buildings, governmental buildings, regional centers, 99, 621 kindergartens. For you and I here in America, that would be elementary schools. Religious buildings, 115. Ports and port infrastructure, to be clarified. Military airfields, 12. Cultural facilities, 192, 19 shopping malls. They lost the biggest aircraft in the world, the Maria AN-225. Storage infrastructures, 178, 28 oil depots, and 2,910 retail facilities. Folks, they've lost a lot. Now, I want to give you an update tonight on Mariupol. Yeah, they had to sub. I don't know how they got through, but I busted them. It happens. Am I going to have to move the subscriber to 10 minutes now? Maybe that's what I'll do. Jeff Burnett, bless Ukraine. Mariupol, completely conquered, taken. We've shown the video. That's not what I want to talk to you about tonight. Mariupol right now is having a tragedy, and that is disease is running rampant through that city. There was a photo released today, and I cannot show it, but a grocery store and a shopping complex was opened up, and it was a morgue. It was full and full and full of dead bodies from the beginning of the war. And the picture was horrific. But they used the picture to try to get the story out that the city is so struggling with infrastructure, and Russia's really not trying to do anything to fix anything. And right now they're having significant problems with cholera, significant problems with, whatever it would be, digestive diseases, and people are now dying from sickness in Mariupol. No clean water, little to no electricity for the people. Now, for the Russians, the soldiers, they'll take care of their own. But the people, the Ukrainians that are there now and captured, captivated, locked down in that city, there is a lot of illness running through those streets. So I wanted to give you the update on that. I have been digging for an accurate update on Azovstal, meaning the soldiers. The last one that I had was the one I shared with you, where the commander said, "We are in captivity." You could see the picture of him, a little gaunt, and, the UN, the Red Cross is here, and we're getting some food, we're getting some water. I've had other reports come out that those guys are being tortured. I've had stuff shared with me about very, very horrible things that they are experiencing, but I do not have confirmation on it from multiple places yet that I trust. So I'm digging on that every day, because that has been a story that we've followed from day one, and we know those guys' names, and we definitely will be keeping up with that. CZ, I saw on Twitter that tomorrow in Kyiv at 1:30, there is a meeting to update the spouse families of the defenders that were Azovstal. Good. Then I definitely, once that happens, I will be updated on that. So hopefully, thank you for that. Tomorrow night, we'll get an update on that. Is Russia really in a position to fix anything at this point? War is still raging. No, but let me explain to you something about Russia. And if I had any Ukrainian in here right now, they would tell you they're not going to fix anything. Nothing. In fact, I almost showed you guys the video tonight, but I just chose not to because there's other things that I wanted to share with you. But there are now 9 schools operating in Mariupol. Every bit of Ukrainian history has been, of course, eliminated. All the books have been burned. It's all Russian, Russia history, Russian language. No English classes offered. It is just like back to the USSR. But the classes are meeting in bombed out schools, and the Russian military and those in governmental charge there in Mariupol repaired nothing in the school. They brought teachers in from Russia, and they made the parents of the students who wanted to put their kids to get some type of education come to the school. We've got video of where the parents had to sweep up, remove rubble. The windows are just blown out. They're hanging plastic. They put a little blackboard on the wall. It's unbelievable. They're not going to rebuild anything, folks. Nothing. Remember, it wasn't, oh my goodness, it was probably a long time ago. It was a long time ago, probably 60 days. Remember, Jane and I were talking, and I showed you the video of Abkhazia, where Russians destroyed it and were supposed to rebuild it, and now it's nothing but a memorial garden. The same thing's going to happen in all of these cities that are destroyed unless Ukraine pushes them out and reclaims all of their territory. I was going to say, did they roll out sod grass around the schools? You can't erase that. You're right. I did hear a report that Russia captured American general in Ukraine. Is any legitimacy to this? I can't give any legitimacy to that. I haven't heard or seen one peep on that, and I probably would. You don't conduct total war with plans on fixing it all up. It's going to be an open field. That's correct. It's just, that's the update on Mariupol, folks. It's a disaster. It's so sad. It's so sad. We're talking a major city. Major city. With that said, let me take it the next step for you. Very, very interesting here. But as you know, many people are missing or dead in Ukraine. And, you know, you talked about at the beginning of the program tonight, many of you were chatting, go, how creative, how artistic. The music was great when I was showing you the Birthday of Kyiv video. Some smart people there. This guy has built a database trying to help with people that are lost. Very interesting. Check this out.
Просто мы вбиваем одну фамилию и уже вот видим списки. Это разные варианты, ну, разные списки.
У цьому списку більше 5000 імен зниклих безвісті. Військові, мирні жителі, діти. Луганчанин Геннадій Щербак створив портал «Повернись» іще у 2014 році та зібрав чи не найбільшу в світі базу даних про зниклих, загиблих і полонених українців.
Ну вот свежие, да?
16 вересня.
Вот здесь внизу вот есть
Мариуполь.
место рождения, место похоронено.
У базі даних Геннадія докладна інформація про тих, кого шукали живими чи мертвими. Її збирав у соцмережах із дописів рідних та з відео з місць боїв. І з початком повномасштабної війни портал пошуку щодня поповнюється новими іменами.
Я работаю по 20 часов в сутки. Работа увеличилась в разы. Сразу начались именно гражданские. И в основном Мариуполь. Мариуполь и Киев. Там начались пропадать люди. Потом уже Херсон.
Нині на порталі «Повернись» понад 50 тисяч дописів. Чоловік активно співпрацює із правоохоронцями, адже у нього чимало інформації, яка може згодитися під час пошуку. Розшукати вдалося вже майже 400 зниклих.
Люди, конечно, сами пишут, конечно, это приятно, это, собственно, это основная награда. Это основное, то ради чего это делаешь.
Є величезна кількість інформації щодо воєнних злочинів. Ці факти будуть використані як докази під час судового процесу проти Росії у Міжнародному суді в Гаазі. Окрім цього, Геннадій створив книгу пам'яті, де ідентифікував імена загиблих.
Много погибло чемпионов мира. Много людей искусства, много журналистов, великих архитекторов даже есть, медицина, дети, да, это очень страшная категорія.
Геннадій каже, з 2014 року і дотепер ніхто не може назвати точної кількості безвісті зниклих українців унаслідок дій російських агресорів. Та якщо є бодай найменша можливість про це дізнатися, він і далі це робитиме.
Just people doing their part. His name is Gennady, and smart guy. Did you see the number there? That's just on that database that he just started. 50,000 missing. 400 have been identified or located. 50,000. And it's not exhaustive. He said first they started showing up missing in Mariupol. Then they were showing up missing in Kyiv. Then Kherson. And you may be sitting there tonight asking yourself, where are those people? We've told you where they're at. They're in camps in Russia. Russia did not come to liberate the Donbass. And also, I was talking to Lara the other night. Maybe some of you wanted to, or wondering, and we looked it up. Why the name Donbass? What does that mean? So you know, the major city in that region is Donetsk. Huge city under Russian control. Been that way since 2014. And then that geographical location is a basin full of iron ore and coal and natural resources, loaded. Ukraine will have no monetary problems if we can get the territory back. It's loaded. But that Donetsk basin, Don, you guys know what that means. And basin, Donbass. So we do not know how many are missing, but it is unbelievable what is happening. We're watching it, and people continually ask. They'll send me a message, or they'll ask, do you really believe those people have been stolen? Oh, I don't believe it. I know it. I know they're stolen. I've seen it. And are they coming back? No. Maybe some, but no. Many that are way in eastern Russia, in Siberia, and over toward Vladivostok, and then in central Russia down toward Mongolia, they can't get back. They'll never get back. They're gone. You say, well, why would they do that? They're coming to liberate, because they're not coming to liberate. They're coming to destroy. And that is all that they have in mind. This is 95 days. I want to close out our 95th day, giving you a little bit of a view of what happened on the front lines today. Nothing too bad here, but gives you an inside look. That's why you're here each night. Day 95, here's some of the battles. Don't worry, G-rated.
Сто и чуть-чуть, наверное. Туда влево, да? Да, ну все, туда вот в сторону дороги. Ага. Фух. Ну, скажем так, время у нас еще есть.
Далековато. Ну, что-то они перелеты, да, это уже недолет пошел.
Они же там по всей линии.
Квадрик. Сука, блин, надо его нахуй потушить. Квадрокоптер висит, корректирует огонь. Ну, кидают пока по ближайшим позициям.
Это левый фланг. Ну, там же 330.
Че, опять? Это близко.
Метров Вон, дым. Метров 60.
Опа, ничего себе. Пристрелялись, да, неплохо? Это 2 перелета было, недолет. Это они сейчас бахнули. Нормально, да. Ага. Да, близко.
Я чувствую, что, блядь, нас все, блядь, где-то правые там. Писать, блядь. Просто не популярно.
Ну що, хлопці, так регулярно так насипають, да? Ха-ха, ясно.
Well, there you have it. Just a little inside look. Yeah, that's a line that's been there a while. And what they call a quadricopter, that would have been a drone, of course. Very interesting how much drone warfare. You can see the difference. Somebody wrote in there, it was Medic Trevor. I want to see some more of that British guy. Yeah, if I get more video of him, you're going to see it. But, you guys that are veterans in here, you understand all of that warfare. You understand the lines. You understand the positions. You understand what you're seeing. And I love showing it to you, getting stuff that nobody else most of the times has. But you can tell the difference. Last night when I was showing you some of the what was his name? Ben Grant? Yeah, Ben Grant from Britain, the Special Forces guy. That dude was in charge, and he was leading Americans and Ukrainians, UK Special Forces guy. But you can see the Ukrainian forces there. They're heroes. I mean, they're fighting outmanned and outnumbered and outgunned, and they're doing an amazing job. But their training, of course, is not to the level of many of you guys that watch this that are American veterans, but they're teachable. We just got to get there to help them. Anyway, that's what we're up to. That is day 95. Thank you guys all for being here. Make sure tomorrow that you celebrate Memorial Day by remembering those that lost their lives to ensure the freedom that you and I have, and for that freedom that we're trying to stand in the gap for Ukraine for. So God bless you tonight. You guys have a great, great evening. We'll see you in 23 hours. Peace upon you and peace upon Ukraine. And yeah, I'll be looking for more Ben Grant video. Good night, guys.